Greetings, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Collective Awakening Weekly. My name is Carrie, Konyha, and this is a weekly energy update and activation for the collective. In this week's episode, we're going to take a look at the energies happening around this weekend's solar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius. The themes that are rising this week are connected to the power of speaking our truth, heightened intuition, and awareness around our soul purpose. Stay tuned for insights on how you can best navigate through these energies for yourself this week. Welcome back, friends, and let's not forget that this solar eclipse is connected to a new moon, and new moons are always time for new beginnings. Now, as I mentioned in last week's episode, this solar eclipse is actually completing an eclipse cycle that started way back in May, June of 2020. And so one thing that we can all do is take a look at what's been coming up for us since that time, or maybe what arose for us during that time that's still been maybe an in and out lingering issue in our life. And this solar eclipse gives us great opportunity to bring healing and resolve to however these energies have been showing up for you in the past year and a half. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the astrology happening around this eclipse. And then, of course, as always, we're going to look to the cards for some additional sacred wisdom teachings and channeled insights. So this solar eclipse is happening with the sun, the moon, and Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's expansive. It's passionate. It comes with a drive, and we're certainly all being motivated. There's a strong theme with this eclipse around out with the old, long-standing issues once and for all, as I mentioned last week, and getting on track with what feels like empowered purpose. So this week we have Mars trining Neptune. Mars is the archetype of the spiritual warrior. It's also connected to the element of fire. It's expansion, it's action-oriented, it's drive, motivation, and forward movement. Trining Neptune. Neptune is the planet that's connected to the mystical dimensions of life, our sacred nature, intuition. So Mars trining Neptune is heightening our intuition this week and our creative impulses. So creative expression and intuition is the thing that's driving and inspiring our thoughts, our motivations, and our actions this week. One of the most significant things that I want to mention is that we have the Sun and Mercury passing over the South Node and trining Chiron. This is really significant because the South Node is about our karma and Chiron is about our old wounds. So the Sun and Mercury sort of passing over and aspecting both of these celestial bodies is really heightening our awareness around our sense of soul purpose and strongly inspiring all of us in our own unique ways to really step fully into whatever we consider to be our path of purpose. I talked about this a lot last week because the energy's been building and, of course, culminating with the coming solar eclipse this week. The Sun and Mercury trining Chiron also brings in a desire to learn, grow, develop, and nurture where we need healing. And so in these next few days leading up to the solar eclipse, I recommend paying attention to whatever's coming up for you personally. Being that we are in a waning phase of the moon right now, this is a really good time to do any type of healing and clearing work. We also have the Sun and Mercury both in a sextile to the planet Saturn, which anchors in grounded stability. Now, this energy of grounded stability is an energy that we can embrace, embody, and harness the power of to move forward through to the other side of the solar eclipse in alignment with the energy of new beginnings that this solar eclipse with the new moon does bring us. So the last thing that I want to talk about before we get into the cards, which is a really significant thing, is that we do have the Sun and Mercury opposite Black Moon Lilith, Black Moon Lilith is connected to our most primitive, raw, primal, authentic beingness. And with the Sun and Mercury opposite Black Moon Lilith, it's sort of shining a light on that. And that's what's empowering us to really embody our deepest truth and to embody the power of speaking our truth. This is a really empowering time to take a look at your astrology so that you can understand how to navigate through the energies of now, especially that we're about to come into a brand new year ahead with this energy of new beginnings. Having a deep understanding of what the opportunities are that are showing up for you astrologically, and even what some of the challenges are and how you can best navigate through those things, is only going to lead to empowered clarification and forward movement. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at the cards and see what additional sacred wisdom teachings and channeled messages want to come through for us this week. Okay, so I'm going to actually work with two different decks today. The first deck that I'm going to be working with is called the Shamanic Healing Oracle. And I'm going to choose just one card from this deck with the intention of revealing an energy or an awareness around the opportunity for healing that we all collectively have in these days leading up to the solar eclipse. And so let's see what that wants to be here. Opportunity or awareness around healing. Inner journey. So obviously we're all being compelled to be on a deep inward journey. Even the darkness in this card bordering the light that you can see peeking through is really representational of this dark waning phase of the current lunar cycle that we're in right now. And when I'm looking at the symbol, the primary symbol in the center of the card, it's like a little bit of like a starburst of light coming through. We all need to allow ourselves a little bit of downtime in these next few days. I would say even the day of the eclipse and even maybe the day after the eclipse, like this weekend, basically. Going within, nurturing yourself, doing some yoga, doing a shamanic breathwork session. That's actually what I'm intending on doing this weekend myself personally for my own healing and clearing. I'm really feeling the intensities of these energies right here with all you guys, and I'm doing my healing work as well. So whatever you feel called to doing to support you, do it this weekend. This is really speaking to what I spoke of earlier about the Mars trine Neptune energy, heightening our intuition and creative impulses, and then both the Sun and the Mercury trining Chiron, empowering us to be on the journey of clearing and healing old wounds and karmic trauma patterns. So whether it's movement, dance, breath work, being out in nature, walking, hiking, journaling, some form of creative expression modality to support your healing. Do that this weekend. And let's see what else wants to come up here. I'm going to pull a few more cards, working with this Madame Andora's fortune cards. I really just love the intense impact that these cards have. And so I have a tendency to work with them when we have intense energies showing up. So let's first take a look at what's the energy that's being illuminated with the solar eclipse. Solar eclipses bring illuminated awareness in general, and with the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury being in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, it brings even more of an energy of illumination, light, passion, purpose into the picture. What's being illuminated this week? The Wizard. And the little caption at the bottom of the card says, use your skills to aid others. This is an interesting energy that's coming up because we're in a time where awareness around where we still need healing is being triggered. So it's showing up for each of us in our own ways. But a really good therapeutic space to hold for yourself while you're going through your own healing process is to be available to support other people who are also going through their processes. As we're clearing away these old energies that are being triggered and activated within us and stepping into this sort of portal of new beginnings, the wizard is representing us tapping into our highest nature, our higher self, our higher frequency timeline. It's harnessing the power of your unique soul gifts, which is very connected to the fact that Vesta, which is an asteroid, is also in the sign of Sagittarius, inspiring us to really embody our sense of soul gifts and discovering ways to utilize them as we're stepping into a path. So this card is reminding us to step into our higher nature as best as we can, to be a presence of light for ourselves and others. So how can we best work through this energy? How can we best navigate through the energies that are coming up? Serendipity automatically reminds me of, paying attention to synchronicities in your life. The caption at the bottom of this card says, bright new prospects are on the horizon. Pay attention to those serendipitous moments, those moments that just feel like divinely orchestrated, harmonized blessings of experiences in our life. The best way that we can navigate through the energies of this solar eclipse portal that's happening this weekend is to be in our highest nature, be consciously aware of embracing or opening the door to learning more about discovering what our soul gifts are, and then utilizing that in alignment with paying attention to synchronistic opportunities that happen in our lives. Let's take a look at an overall message from Spirit for all of us right now. I feel like it wants to be this one. It's Medusa. Jealousy leads to downfall. Overall message from Spirit is to not let all that stuff that's being triggered in us regarding old karmic trauma patterns, not allowing that to take us over and become a little bit of a negative entity that's possessing us and sabotaging us in ways that overshadow this light energy that's wanting to come through. I feel like that's our big challenge right now. This also came up a little bit last week, and it's the energies heightening this week. So it's like the angel and the devil. Are you going to be the wizard or the Medusa? Are you going to make every effort to embody your highest soul nature, your soul gifts, be an embodiment of light, claim your empowerment to allow the divine mystery of life to magically express through you? Or are you going to allow that which is being triggered to get the best of you and sabotage yourself, your life, your energies? This card is connected to the energy of jealousy, envy. And if there's any of you out there that are literally dealing with those types of energies, the sacred wisdom teaching that I can share is that in Eastern philosophies and teachings, such as yogic philosophies, Sufism, and things like that, teach that jealousy and envy are actually spiritual diseases of the heart that cloud us from being able to be in our truest nature. You can see that there's actually a lot of green in this card, which is the color of the heart chakra. So heart-centered soul growth work, healing and clearing anything that is obstructing you from being in peace in your heart are the types of practices that we can all do for ourselves this weekend to move through this portal of awakening, ultimately is what it is, in the most conscious ways possible. And I am going to see you guys next week on the other side of this eclipse. All my love, blessings, namaste. Stay tuned. There's more videos around the corner, and I will see you in the next one.